Alright, Blizzard, let's talk heroes. Yrel, the hot grenade chick from World of Warcraft. This submission comes to us from UPRC, and I'm really excited for this one because a lot of people did concepts for this character, and I couldn't find too many good ones, like not to throw shade at people who are, hardworking on their ideas and stuff, but a lot of the ones that jumped out at me, they were very few and far between, so I'm really happy that one of the people who had a good concept to me finally wrote me back about this, so I get to review it. They've classified her as a support, which is nice, because it's kind of like, when it comes to paladins, you're either going to be a support or you're going to be a tank. Like, yeah, you can go offense, but I kind of see it as one or the other. And when I used to play World of Warcraft, my main class was a paladin who healed. So this is like, that's right there for me. That's right there. Alrighty, so her combat trait is Mark of the Naru, which is the Draenei's, like, racial ability, I believe it was called. It's been a really long time since I played World of Warcraft. Passively emits a small wave from Yrel's Mark of Naru every 12 seconds that heals health over time of nearby allies based on her stacks of resolve. So kind of like Brightwing, but she can do better with it. Okay, that seems a little too good right now, but let's keep going. Reach of heals are between melee and short range. Okay, so it's smaller than that. It's like Kharazim range. Okay. Each time Yrel heals an ally through her basic ability, she grants 1 stack of resolve. Regeneration globes also grant 1 stack. And stacks of resolves cap at 20 stacks and reset upon 0 upon death. Oh, okay. So they reset to 0 upon death. Okay. So she heals and it buffs her next heal. If she attacks or if she uses a basic ability, it buffs her next heal. So the longer the fight goes on without her dying, the better her passive healing becomes. Okay, that's okay. That's not too bad. And she heals herself for 25% of the above values per verse. So she's not very good at keeping herself alive, but her health does get better. The thing is, it's traded off by the fact that you have to keep her alive. Otherwise, like if you're like level 8 or 12 or 17 or something like that, and you get killed, like if they gank you, which in this game, especially with characters like Valeera and Samuro running around, it's very easy to gank the healer if they know what they're doing. Then you suddenly come back and you're much less effective at your job. You're not like Brightwing, where your healing is always going to be consistent with your level. You're not like Kharazim, where you can heal faster based on your attacks, and like like every third attack is healing and stuff like that. Like, yeah, wow. No, okay, so I can see. You know what? I said it's a little bit broken. No, this is actually a fair trade-off. You have to balance your own survivability with the healing of other characters. So that's okay. I like that. Primary abilities, your Q is Hollowed Hammer, which I don't think is an actual paladin ability, but it's been a while, so maybe it is. Grell throws her hammer in a wide semicircular arc, damaging all targets in its path for minor damage. So basic attack, okay, that's fine. Like as I've said before, I always prefer the Q to be some kind of a damaging ability. It doesn't have to do much else, even if you're support. They get this. They get this. It's actually been a little while since I've looked at all the people I did email when I first started the Let's Talk Heroes miniseries. I'm starting to see why I wrote this person, because they get me. They get me. Your W is Sanctification. It's got a lot of text on it. It's like a book over here. Skill shot ability when damaging, but it's direct target of healing, which I like, because we already have a skill shot healing in the W that Uther gets, and even though I really enjoy playing new Uther, I sometimes miss wildly with his W skill shot healing. Thank God he's got a Q for that, but yeah. Blasts target location with a quick burst of light, hurts enemies and heals allies. So if it... Okay, well, going by the description of that, I see blast target location of light, or blast target with burst of light, I think Yrel. So if it's like Yrel, that's good, because I'm actually really good at aiming that. But the fact that it's a skill shot to hit enemies, but definitely targets allies, I really like that. Because if all of your standard heals are going to be skill shots, you're going to have a bitch of a time trying to keep people in hectic-ass team fights alive, especially faster characters. Like, trying to heal an Illidan would be a freaking nightmare, because he's all over the freaking place. And you can't just count on your passive doing it, because it says every 12 seconds, so, like, that ain't gonna happen. Alright, enemy heroes caught within Sanctification or damage for minor damage, and then burn for 25% of total base damage over 2 seconds. I was a little bit worried that was going to say 25% of their total life over 2 seconds, because that's fucking broken, but that's okay, that's minor, I like that. Friendly heroes are directly targeted by Sanctification and are healed for, low to moderate HP. and then further 10% of the total base healing over 2 seconds. So that's good. And also that, that and your Q and your E are also going to add 1 stack of Resolve, making your next passive heal even better. So in a pinch, if you can time this properly, you could get off like a Mark of the Naru, buff the next one, then cast Sanctification midway through it, buff the next one, then your next Mark of the Naru goes off and buffs it again. Like, you're going to be keeping compound healing. That's what I'm looking for. I'm sorry, it's been a little while since I've done one of these, so my brain is kind of trying to re-augment itself to doing these videos. But yeah, compound healing, and I could see her being really good for that. The problem is, because it's looking like that's her main ability to just go heal, it does still have a 6-second cooldown, which is faster than a lot of other characters. But like, I could still see good assassins outpacing her healing. But nobody should be so good that they can keep up with, like, assassins just focus firing down one person. Unless you've got, like, 3 healers. The only hero I can see doing that is Morales, and that's because that's her entire job, is you're healed, and as long as I'm healing you, you're not gonna die. Like, that makes sense for her. Everyone else shouldn't be able to do that, so I like this kit so far. Your E is Righteous Aura. Activate to passively grant buff to nearby allies. When activated, Righteous Aura grants the following. Attacks nearby allies. Okay, I'm gonna need like a leashing range on this. So this ability, based on like the fact that I see a lot of stuff written down, this ability is gonna be broken based on how big the radius is. If it's small, like within melee to short range, then that would probably be okay. But any longer than that, and you've got a bit of a problem here. So attack speed's up by 10%. Hello, Zul'jin. Basic attack damage by 15%. Hello, Zul'jin again. Healing, 15 health per every 3 seconds. Awards 1 stack of Resolve per heal. So that's a really good way to stack your fucking passive. Mana regen. This is not granted to your Yrel's ability. Okay, so you grant them mana regen, but you don't get it because you have an upkeep cost, which is 3 mana per second to maintain. When it's toggled off, it gets its cooldown to 5 seconds. Okay, so that grants a little tiny bit too much to me as a basic ability with no talents. However, this entirely comes down to its leashing range. If it's a very small range, that's fine then. Because yeah, it does do a lot, but if you've got to be like right up your ally's ass for it to maintain on them, then no harm, no foul. Plus, if you're at like, this is also one of those abilities that if its ability range is very short, then they actually, you kind of need to be in communication with people, like, I've got this going, or the animations need to be on point to show your allies, like, you're under my protection right now, don't fucking wander away from me, because I'm just burning mana for no reason. Because I ain't getting that mana back, and you are, so, you know, around the healer, please. So, like I said, this ability could go from being stupidly broken, because it grants way the fuck too much for a basic ability, untalented, to just the right amount of balanced, entirely based on its range. And I'm okay with leaving that up in the air, because UPRC could come back and tell me it's crazy small or it's crazy big, and then maybe they'll need to look at it and be like, all right, maybe we need to tweak this a bit. Because if its range is pretty big, like say the range of Malfurion's default healing, which I think is like a medium range ability, maybe it's even large, I'm not really sure how it's classified in Heroes of the Storm, but if it's at all like that, it definitely needs to be augmented, because that's too good. Your secondary ability, so your number 1 ability, is Light Surge. Assigned to the 1 key, activate to consume 1 stack of Resolve to increase damage and or healing of next basic ability by 20%. Does that stack with Righteous Aura? Like, could you use that and then, like, suddenly you're, the next time you've used Righteous Aura on somebody, their attack speed's now 30%, or their attack damage is now 35%, like, shit like that? Because that seems really stupidly broken. I think, like, it probably doesn't, because it does say, like, attack damage or healing by that much, but I'm gonna say you should probably include something in the text of that says, does not affect Righteous Aura, or something like that, just so stupid people like me don't get confused and think it's better than it is. Because if it's just your Q and W that get affected by it, that's okay. I mean, I would probably have that consume more than 1 stack of Resolve, because otherwise it'd be really, like, it's too easy to get your stacks right now. It is. It, like, especially with your Righteous Aura on, like, 2 allies, you're like, tick, 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 and you can just burn Light Surges at the cost of 8 seconds per cooldown. Like, you gotta raise the cost on that a bit. So it must be used within 10 seconds, or the consumed stack and the effect are both lost, which is fair. Cooldown initiates after 10 seconds, or upon the basic ability being used. So yeah, That'd be my changes. List the fact that it doesn't stack with the E because I can't imagine it does. And maybe make it cost more than one with Stack of Resolve, because you have so many ways to get stacks right now. Heroic abilities. The first one is Avenging Wrath. Yrel sprouts wings made of light, increasing her ability and basic damage by 25%, and increases the effects of her heals by 50%. Generates 1 stack of Resolve every 1.5 seconds. All cooldowns 50% shorter while Avenging Wrath is active. Lasts just under 8 seconds. That sounds really, really good. It doesn't last that long, but it seems to do, like, everything. Like, you get better healing, you get better damage, you get faster cooldowns, you get extra Resolve stacks. Like, hot damn, that's nice. But it's not like... So here's the trade-off. Something like Malfurion's healing ult, or Lily's healing ult, you're taking the core focus of your classification, which is support, and you're magnifying it to, like, while this is active, if they don't stun me out of it, chances are good no one's going to die during it, which is good. It's what you're supposed to be doing. This is like a mode that just affects Yrel herself. So unless she goes into it and immediately starts firing off healing with a 50% cooldown reduction and faster stacks of Resolve, that doesn't really make them any more effective than like she would normally be. Like, yeah, she gets a stronger Resolve stacks, but it doesn't make her passive kick any faster, so she doesn't suddenly become a much faster healer. The only thing she really has access to is a faster W, and that's it. And if it's 50% shorter, that still means she still has a limit of 3 seconds. So that means, at best, hear me out here, she could kick off Avenging Wrath and kick off two extra casts of her W. That's about it. Maybe 3 if you've timed this properly and I'm just not seeing it, but that's about it. So that's really not great from a healer standpoint, but from everything else, it's a nice buff. And plus, if you're going to 1v1 someone, like if you get caught off, this could help. But maybe your other one would be better for that, so let's take a look at it. Her second one is Hammer of Justice. Powerful hammer made of light appears and chases the enemy target hero, attempting to strike them 3 times. I have the weirdest vision of a whack-a-mole ability stuck in my head now. Each strike inflicts minor to moderate damage and stuns for 1.5 seconds. After 3 strikes, or if the Hammer of Justice expires before 3 strikes, it explodes and deals such as a little bit better damage to all nearby enemies and stuns them for 0.5 seconds. Hammer of Justice moves 5% slower than an unmounted hero and despawns after 6 seconds, or after it performs its 3 strikes. So it really, really needs to get that first stun, otherwise it will never catch them. Like, if because she doesn't have a slow built in, like, at all. So if you don't slow them down, or catch them off guard with it, or have an ally trap them, then this ability will never do anything. The only thing it might do for you is peel for you. Like, if you start getting focused down, you could throw this on the assassin that's targeting you and have them fuck off. So, because survivability is so important with the way your passive works on this character, I want to say Hammer of Justice actually does your job a bit better than Avenging Wrath does, because it's going to do a better job of keeping your ass alive. Plus, its cooldown's only a minute, so you'd have a better chance of, like, coming back from something awful. Like, Avenging Wrath is good. It does a lot for you, but just in the stance of keeping yourself alive, and you don't have a lot of ways to do that with this character. Like, yeah, you have a bit of a self-heal, but not much of one. I kind of think Hammer of Justice is the better of the two, but just by a little bit. So let's take a look at the talents. Weird kind of format. It's not what I'm used to, but I'll take it. I see a couple of ones in here that are already talents that are in the actual game. Those ones I will be skipping over, maybe with a bit of 2 cents added in. That's about it. So Conjurer's Pursuit, that's already a talent. The only thing I'll say in defense of this one is it's actually really good because her passive dictates that regeneration globes give her stacks of Resolve. So you're already going to be going out of your way to collect them anyway. This might not actually be a bad one to take. Her other level 1 talents include Holy Hammering, increase the size of Hollowed Hammer's arc by 15%, Narrow Guidance, reduces the mana cost of Sanctification by 10, and sees a marksman, blah 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 blah. Level 4 talents, Amplified Healing, increases regeneration effects on all healing received by 30%. I was excited for that until I realized it said received and not giving them. Like, so she'll get healed by 30% more, not she'll heal more, heal others for 30%. So, nah. Like, you do need to prioritize your own survivability, so that's good, but is it worth the level 4 talent slot? Hammer of the Naru, basic attacks restore 5 mana. That could be really useful, especially if you need to keep your fucking aura up, or your, what was your E called again? Oh, it was an aura. Okay, Righteous Aura. Yeah, in case you need to keep that up. Healing Ward, standard. Protective Shield, standard. Level 7 talents. Cleanse, pretty standard. I'm starting to see a lot of heroes get their own variations on some of these standard ones, though. Like, Uther just got his own version of Cleanse and things like that, and I could totally see Malfurion getting the same treatment down the road. So, all these ones that are like Amplified Healing, Conjurer's Pursuit, Seasoned Marksman, Cleanse, I can see these being tailor-made for certain heroes down the road with, like, this does what it does now, and if you're playing as this hero, it does this as well. Like, Uther's gets reduced with his basic attacks and stuff like that, which fits for him, because he's swinging his hammer like crazy when he's healing. Exhilaration. Hero takes down now awards 1 stack of Resolve. I don't know if that's good enough to warrant a level 7 talent. I would probably have gone 4 with that one, but your stacks of Resolve come in so fast, I don't think that's needed. Holy Fire, deal 18... Oh, okay, so Holy Fire, it's the same. I think Uther has the same thing. An Opportunity. Sanctification's cooldowns are reduced by 3 seconds when it fails to heal an ally or damage an enemy. Okay, so if you... So that obviously doesn't stack if you go to heal an ally, because that's a direct target. You will heal them, unless they get healed by somebody else, I guess. And then max out. Whatever. But if you go to, like, hit an enemy that's near an ally, and you miss both somehow, then you get the cooldown back a bit faster. But I don't know. It's 6 seconds. That's pretty good. And if you're using it mostly for healing, you probably won't ever miss with it. So in this case, I kind of want to say Cleanse is your best bet to go with, because Cleanse is really good. Level 10s are blah blah blah. Level 13 talents, Low Blows. Hollowed Hammers, now slow targets for 25%. If you're gonna go with Hammer of Justice as your ult, you want that. You want that so you can go Q ult, and they fucking get hammered, stunned, killed. Like, yeah, okay, that's what you need. That's what Yrel needed in her talents, and I totally justify that at being level 13. Because the way I see it is, if you're using Hammer of Justice, and, like, you take it, say, as your first time player, and you're like, shit, I can't hit this. Like, I can't. If only there was a way I could slow them down, the next talent tree up has you covered. So, that's good, I like that. Righteous Might. Righteous Aura now increase the attack speed by 50%, basic attack damage by 20%. So it ups them both by 5%, which, again, comes down to the leashing radius. If it's big, too broken. If it's not, that's fine. Second chances. Sanctification now is a second charge. I like that. That's good. Keep it as it is. Shrink Ray. Standard. Level 16 talents. Everlasting Auras. Decreases mana upkeep of Righteous Aura to 1 point per second. That might be too good. That might be a little bit too good. If you were going to go that route, I would say make its default mana upkeep higher and maybe make it 3 hits per second on this one. Because that's a little too good. Hardened Focus, well, oh, that's standard. I just forgot about that. Imposing Presence, also standard. And Two Lap Affair. That's a weird name for a talent. Hollowed Hammer travels in an arc its second time. Oh, okay. So, okay, maybe it's just me, but when I was reading Hollowed Hammer, its ability and like how it worked, I was picturing Tyrael's Q where it slows them. I can't remember what the ability is called off the top of my head right now, but I was picturing that. But now I'm picturing more like an old school Hammerden, like you hit it and it spins you once, kind of like what Joanna gets if you choose to buff hammers into her her drag ability. I guess it does something similar to that then, not like Tyrael. I don't know why I thought of Tyrael right away, but that's just what came to mind. But okay, I can see. I think I'd have to see that one in front of me to see how it works more than anything else. Okay, so her level 20 Nexus talents. These are kind of weirdly sorted because generally when I see these things written down, they have the level 10 upgrades are the first two listed. Not so with this one. First one is Champion Light. Activate to get 10 stacks of Resolve and regenerate 50% of maximum mana over 2 seconds. The only reason I would take that is for the mana game. And even then, I don't think you need to make that at level 20. Like, I mean, granted, that's really good, so I can't imagine where else you'd put it. But you don't need the 10 stacks. Like, you get Resolve so fast. The only reason I would take this is... I know I just said it a second ago. The only reason I take it is for the mana. The other reason I can see taking it, though, is if you're dying a lot. Like, if you're just getting focused down and targeted all the fucking time. I would take that so you get back in the game faster. So, like, you get killed, you spawn, you hit it. You get your 10 stacks back, you're good to go. You can go back in there, you can help your team a little bit better with your passive. So, that would be the other reason I would take it. That said, I don't see a cooldown on this, and they really should be listing those. So, maybe consider listing what the cooldown on this is. Dranic Archangel. Avenging Wrath now lasts 10 seconds instead of 7.5. Damage and healing are all increased by a further 15%. Not bad, but I still kind of like the hammer more than that one. Gift of the Naru. Mark of the Naru can now be activated to consume all resolve stacks to heal target. Okay, so it heals a shit ton. That's pretty good. That I like because it's a secondary heal. So if you just find that your W is not doing the job it needs to be doing, you get to level 20, it's like, all right, we got to do one last push, take gift to the Naru, your tank starts to fall, you go, you're fully healed. It's like, go with that. So that's pretty good. I like that. Hard knocks, Hammer of Justice strikes become progressively stronger, each strike inflicting 25% more damage than the last. Seems a little weird with the support to give them a damaging talent, but if you're already going to be taking Hammer of Justice to peel for yourself, there's no better peel than making the assassin dead, so might not be a bad idea to look into that. And finally, Storm Shield. So that was Yrel. I really like her kit. I do have obviously my own thoughts on it, like my own complaints, like we need a leashing radius on that E, we need to find out like how strong certain things are going to be in testing, and honestly, I would like to see this thing just come full circle. Now, even if Blizzard doesn't want to go with this version of it, Yrel is a really popular character. So down the road, I can absolutely see them putting her in the game because realistically, we've got a ton of elves, we've got a ton of other things. Really, we're missing. We got one Tauren, so we could use more of those too. But we need a Draenei. Somewhere in the Nexus, we need a Draenei, and come on, she's a fan favorite. Why would you not? So even if you don't like this one, there's lots of other builds for Yrel out there, and if you have your own, or if you have thoughts on this one here, post them in the comments below because I'd love to read them. And of course, you know, UPRC I'm sure would like some feedback on their build as well. But as always, you know, this has been Spiral Sigil saying thanks for checking this out, this build. You know, show the support where it's needed. The link's in the description below. And Blizzard, make this a thing.